Hey, and welcome to map 4 of Duke Nukem 3D's Alien World Order. This is Mirage Barrage, and the opening section here is quite the barrage in itself. So I'm going to run back to the start here, and I'm going to try and draw all the enemies over to me so that I can take them out as carefully as possible. It's pretty hard to not get hit in this opening section. There's a lot of things blowing up, there's a lot of missiles and bullets coming in your direction, so really you just want to make sure that you're looking after yourself. There is health around and about, but you're gonna have to go looking for it. It's a shame as well because we don't really get to admire the quite nice scenery in this area. This is a very unique level from a sort of visual perspective. It's very unique in the Duke Nukem series. I think we just woke something up, but I'm not quite sure where that is. It might be on the other side of that wall. So yes, we've got to go into this sort of maze here in order to get towards the pyramid. And I have to say, the silhouettes of these pyramids sort of looking over this maze are pretty great. They're very visually striking, and if nothing else, you can say that this level is very visually pleasing.
Get some.
There you go, he's reappeared. Let's take care of you. Get rid of the Reaper there. Around every corner there's a danger in this level, so you've just got to be very careful as you're making your way through this one. Don't get sort of caught out as you're running around the corners, because there are a lot of places where this level will punish you with little remorse. We want to head up this way as well because there is an RPG at the end of this. There's a bunch of pods though, and it's worth looking for the ammo around these pods because it's really useful, especially because we don't really have that many weapons at this point in the level. Yeah, that would have been overkill. Wasn't going to waste a pipe bomb on that.
Of cake. Holy shit.
Let's take care of you.
Damn, I'm good. Hail to the king.
So this is the RPG I was talking about earlier. But again, just got to comment, love the visual style of this level. Like, I just think that there's very good use of sort of props in the background, and I just think it all comes together really well in a visual perspective. I think there are weaknesses in the level design though, and we'll talk about that as we kind of come up to them in the level.
Groovy.
Let me grab that shotgun there. Just taking care of these pods. So now that we've dealt with all of that, actually we've not dealt with all, now we have. Let's grab that health pack. So we want one of the enemies there to come through the tripwires there, just because it'll mean that they damage themselves. But it seems like this enemy doesn't want to come through, which is slightly annoying. You can see he's just kind of walking against the tripwire. Well, he came through, but you know, didn't help me out really, did it? Let's be honest. But being completely honest, I'm not the biggest fan of this maze. I feel it's a bit tedious to kind of explore. There's not much exciting going on inside of it. But again, just look at that view. So it's kind of worth it just for that. Like, you don't get that in Duke Nukem levels very often. It also means that if you want to get all the kills in this level, you've got to have a really keen eye in this opening section, because there's a lot of enemies that are kind of tucked away. For example, this area here is not somewhere that you'd normally explore. You don't really come here unless you actively search for this bit.
Hail to the king, baby.
So you can see those turrets up there are shooting down at me. I'm going to see if I can hit them from here. No, the game's not being that kind to me. Try one more. No. I'll just wait till I get up there. Something else you'll have noticed about these levels in this episode as well, they're all quite long. Like, they really kind of upped the length compared to the other Duke Nukem 3D levels, which I guess I appreciate, but I also think that some of them do go on a bit too long. I do appreciate the fact that they have tried to make this a worthwhile package. Now, of course, there's the whole discussion of, was this worth losing all the expansion packs from the previous Duke Nukem digital packages, but I think we're going to talk about that in a separate video. I don't think that covering that in one of these level videos is a good shout. I think that it deserves its own kind of exploration. But for now, we're just trying to get rid of these turrets in front of the pyramid here. There we go, finally got rid of it. So now we've made it out of the maze, and now we're heading up the pyramid here. So we need to get the blue keycard. It's actually up top here, so we do need to come up here. Just be careful as you're kind of heading up here. There's a few enemies up here. Using a pipe bomb's a very good way to clear the area. You can also see that there's areas you can't really reach here. You're not really allowed to sort of leave the level area. Not quite sure how that rocket missed me there. You can also see that some enemies have spawned in the maze. Did he drop a chain gun? Excellent. So before we put the blue keycard in, I do want to get some secrets. There are some secrets in this sort of area. So if you head over to this pyramid here, there's actually two secrets around it. Both of them are pretty fun ones. So you can see we can walk around this pyramid, and
why so serious, Sam?
So there's a nice little nod to Serious Sam, the video game series that obviously was partially inspired by Duke Nukem and Doom and all of those early boomer shooters. If you head up top here as well, there's an atomic health on top of the pyramid. Just want to admire this for a second. There's a lot to take in here. It's a very nice looking level. Well, this part of the level is very nice looking. But unfortunately we don't get to stay outside for this one. We actually have to head inside soon. Gonna need to put the blue keycard in. So the game helps you out here by showing you where the explosion happens. If you're not paying attention, you might struggle to figure out where to go here. He took himself out, which I'm not going to complain about. So that's pretty much it for the outdoor section of this level, and I really like the opening section here. As mentioned, really like the visuals, kind of like what it was trying to do, although I don't think the maze is particularly strong by itself. But now you can see we're actually deep inside the pyramid itself. So as we head up here, you can see that more enemies are up top. Thanks for that. Luckily I've got a lot of health, so it's not too much of a problem. Ow. But if that keeps happening, it will become a problem. So one thing that this level tries to do, whether you think it's successful or not is up to you, it tries to sort of play around with the format of the Duke Nukem 3D levels, because basically you're kind of forced to go off exploring different areas of the pyramid, and to be honest, it's an interesting idea, I'm not sure if I feel the execution is completely flawless, but I do appreciate that they were trying something a bit different here. So you kind of come in here, there's a bunch of enemies inside. You can die now if you want. You come into this central chamber here. This chamber is going to be very important as we move through the level. So as you can see, you need to shoot this switch here. Once you've done that, you can start pressing the switches that rise up in the center here. The idea is that you're supposed to hit all of the switches in the center, and it eventually lets you access the final part of the level. So these little cubby holes have now opened up, and they kind of lead in different directions. So this ends up feeling a bit more like a Tomb Raider level, in the sense that there's a sort of central area and there's puzzles that sort of branch off. It feels very much like a Tomb Raider 1 inspired level, in my opinion, for someone who's played lots of Tomb Raider, just because of the way that it's kind of structured, this one. So when you come down here, there's a room here filled with these flamethrower enemies. Now, these guys can be very annoying when they're in a confined area, and they can be doubly annoying when there's a whole bunch of them. So as you can see here, I'm not going into the room. I'm just going to stand back. I'm just going to try and snipe them from outside the room. I feel this is a much better tactic than going in there and being exposed to potentially horrifying flame death. Nobody wants to get exposed to horrifying flame death. Also, the explosions can't really hurt us here, but the flames can reach us. So I'm going to make use of my portable med pack here.
Holy shit.
Here we have the flamethrower, which I'm not really going to be making use of. So you can see if you click into the security camera feed, it shows you what's happening, so you know what you have to do next. And when we blow this wall up here, we go back to the central chamber. So as you can see, more switches have risen up here. Take out these pods. So one thing that's very curious about this level, there's a lot of breakable walls like this. And it is a bit interesting because obviously if you don't have the explosives or you waste them, you might potentially not be able to progress yourself. It's an interesting choice, I have to say that. So here's the second secret chamber. We need to kill all these octo brains here. They make such a noise. I know it's supposed to be inside Duke's head, but they make such a racket. We've already hit that switch there. We could go back the way we came out, but we could also just go through the wall here that can be blown up, which is exactly what I'm going to do. So you can see that's the third hole that you have to go into. You can get away with not doing all these sections. You can activate those early if you really want to. But I don't really see much point unless you want to get all the ammo at the end of the level. So this is a very weird room because you've got a bunch of pods and you've also got these enemies that can shrink you. And it's quite dark in there as well. Like, despite how bright that far side of the room looks, it's very easy to kind of lose track of enemies just because of how much shade there is in here and how many shadows we can hide in. You can see those enemies over there hiding. Oh no, they hit me. Luckily, I don't think anything can get... I don't know if those green things can actually kill me like this. I'm going to stay away from them. I've never actually seen if those can actually kill you when you're miniaturized, so do let me know in the comments if that's actually the case. If I had more ammo, this wouldn't have been so tricky, but in the end it turned out to be a bit more tricky just because I didn't have access to a lot of explosive ammo. That's my way of covering the fact that I did a rubbish job in this room. So you have to blow up this wall here. And once you do that, you expose this shrinkware, which actually you are meant to use. So you can come up here. But there are 3 enemies in here, and it's very dangerous in here because this room seems a lot smaller than the rooms we've been seeing up to now, even though they were small themselves. Oh no, that's terrible. That's actually awful. Okay, how have they not stamped on me? Okay. Yeah, I've lost control of this room. I'm just going to go down here and shoot them through the crack there. I feel this is a much safer way of approaching this level. If I stay in there, there's every chance they're going to shrink me again. See, look, I think... Was I hit? Was that off the enemy or was that off the thing? I'm not sure. Excellent. Oh, thought that got me then. Obviously it hadn't. So now that we've done this, all we need to do is hit that switch at the back of the room and we can make our way to the final area of this level. So whether you like this level's sort of approach to design or not really is dependent on how much you like to sort of be told what to do. Because this level clearly expects you to go exploring and to sort of survey the area a bit more than I'd argue a lot of other Duke Nukem levels do, just because there's not many levels in Duke 3D where there's like a central puzzle like this that kind of forces you to go exploring the level. So what will happen now, these walls are all going to start opening up and there's going to be a bunch of enemies inside. We can grab a bunch of ammo here, which is really useful. Nobody likes those enemies. I guarantee you there is not a Duke Nukem player that loves those enemies. So now that we've killed those enemies there, we can actually move to the final part of this level. We just need to shoot this switch. It activates a teleporter, and when we do that, we actually get teleported out into space. So I do love this. I think this is a really clever way to end this level because you've kind of gone from the vast outside area that was really gorgeous to the pyramids insides and sort of being cramped in all those rooms, and now you're out in space, which they haven't really touched space since the second episode of Duke Nukem, so it's kind of nice to see it getting a representation here. Look at the pyramids outside. There's a lot of enemies there. Probably wasn't the right idea to use the Devastator there. There's a Battle Lord over there. There's a lot of Reapers there as well. That's not good for me. Luckily the Devastator should make short work of this crowd of enemies. This is why you need a lot of ammo coming into this last area, just because there's a high body count. Are you glitching? Of course, when I leave the glitched enemy, it starts shooting me from behind anyway. Thank you very much. Thank you for your contributions. But I do like this space. Again, it's not a stupidly big space, but I think that the story of this level is pretty cool in the sense that you're kind of exploring and then you get sent into outer space to have this epic final battle here. And once you've hit that switch, you have to destroy these two areas here. There's a bunch of octo brains within, so just be careful about that. The Devastator really does make short work of these guys though, so if you can find some Devastator ammo, you can really take it to them quickly. That is the exit to the level, by the way. We'll go do some cleanup here before we head off. So, oh wait, before we head off from this level, I've actually missed a secret, so I'm gonna go back and quickly grab that secret before we finish the level. It's actually right down here to the left. I've completely forgot about it.
Say
But
hello to your mummy for me.
it's one of those secrets that there's not much in there, but it's worth grabbing if you can, because the pipe bombs are really useful in this level. But there's actually a secret exit through this wall here. So I recommend coming in here if you want to go to the secret level. I really think this is an interesting level. I don't know if I love this level, but I love the visual style at the beginning. I love the ideas that it brings to the table. Not sure about the execution. I think the layout's a bit convoluted in the middle, but you know, it's an interesting level. What did you think of this one? Let me know in the comments, and thank you very much for watching.